You don't get stronger by avoiding the storm. You get stronger by walking straight into it. Every day you have a choice to push yourself or to stay comfortable. And comfort is the enemy. We live in a world where softness is rewarded, where people avoid challenge and call it self-care. But deep down they know they're weaker than they should be. If you want a life that's unshakable, you have to harden your mind, sharpen your discipline, and stop making excuses. Today, we're going to break the habits that keep you soft and build the toughness that makes you unstoppable. Comfort is the enemy. Comfort feels good in the moment, but over time it robs you of strength. It's sneaky. It doesn't attack you directly. It slowly drains your drive. Every time you choose the easier option, the "I'll do it tomorrow" mindset, the "just one more hour of rest" excuse, you chip away at your own resilience. You may think you're relaxing, but what you're really doing is training your mind to avoid challenge. And a mind that avoids challenge becomes soft. Look at the world today. So many people are addicted to comfort. Climate-controlled rooms, food delivered to the door, entertainment streaming endlessly. We've removed almost every form of discomfort from daily life, and now we wonder why people break down at the smallest obstacle. Here's the truth. Comfort is not your friend, it's your prison. It keeps you safe, yes, but it also keeps you small. Every dream you have lives outside of that comfort zone. You cannot grow inside it. Muscles grow by being torn and rebuilt. Minds grow by being challenged and stretched. Spirits grow by enduring hardship and overcoming it. Think about the people you admire, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the leaders, the warriors. None of them became great by choosing the easiest route. They chose the harder road, day after day. They trained when they didn't feel like it. They studied when they wanted to sleep. They kept moving when comfort begged them to stop. You have to rewire your thinking. Instead of running from discomfort, seek it. When you feel that resistance, the part of you that says, "This is hard, I don't want to do it," that's the signal you're in the right place. That's where growth happens. It might start small. Wake up earlier than you want. Take a cold shower instead of a hot one. Put away the phone and focus on something productive. Push a little harder in the gym when you feel like quitting. These are not randos. Acts. They're daily training for your mind. Every small victory over comfort builds your toughness like stacking bricks into a fortress. Life is going to test you. There will be days when the easy option is gone, and the only way forward is hard. If you've spent your life avoiding discomfort, you'll break under that pressure. But if you've trained yourself to face the hard way every day, you'll not only survive, you'll dominate. So remember this. Comfort is a liar. It tells you you're okay where you are, that you've done enough, that you can rest. But deep down, you know the truth. Comfort is stealing your potential. The choice is yours. Stay soft or step into discomfort and become the strongest version of yourself. Stop seeking approval. One of the biggest reasons people stay soft is because they are addicted to approval. They make choices not based on what's right, not based on their own vision, but based on what will keep everyone around them happy. They don't want to upset anyone. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to hear the word no. So they live their lives in a cage built by other people's opinions. Here's the hard truth. If you live for approval, you'll die from rejection. The moment your worth is tied to someone else's validation, you give away your power. You hand over control of your happiness, your confidence, and your decisions to people who don't walk in your shoes, who don't fight your battles, and who might not even care about your success. Strong people understand something soft people don't. Approval is temporary, but self-respect lasts forever. The person who always chases likes, compliments, and praise will never take the risks necessary to win. Why? Because risks come with criticism. The more you try to do something meaningful, the more people will talk. And if you're still hooked on everyone liking you, you'll freeze. You'll play small just to avoid the noise. History's greatest leaders, innovators, and warriors were often misunderstood in their own time. They were mocked, doubted, and even hated, until their results spoke so loudly that the world had no choice but to respect them. If they had been desperate for approval, none of their breakthroughs would have happened. The truth is, most people are too busy worrying about themselves to think about you as much as you imagine. And the ones who constantly criticize, they're often doing less than you. If someone's opinion can stop you, it's not because they're powerful. It's because you've given their voice more weight than your own. You need to build a backbone, not just a wishbone. Instead of asking, will they like me? Start asking, will I respect myself if I do this? Because when the day ends, the only person you have to face in the mirror is you. It's okay if people don't agree with your path. It's okay if they don't understand your sacrifices. You're not here to be universally liked. You're here to win your battles, to build your life, to reach your goals. And none of that will happen if you're constantly watering down your decisions so no one feels uncomfortable. So stop living for applause and start living for results. Make your moves in silence if you have to. Let your work speak so loudly that their opinions fade into background noise. The approval you've been searching for from others will be replaced by something far greater: self-approval. And that's the kind of respect no one can take away. Embrace pain. Pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. The problem is, soft people run from it. They treat pain like a warning sign that says, "Stop, this is dangerous." When in reality, pain often means you're growing, keep going. Think about your muscles. When you lift weights, you create micro tears in the muscle fibers. That's pain. But without that pain, the muscle never grows stronger. The same rule applies to your mind, your discipline, your courage. Pain is the resistance that shapes them. The truth is, life will give you pain whether you want it or not. There's no avoiding it. You can hide from challenges, but you'll still feel the pain of regret. You can avoid hard work, but you'll still feel the pain of being broke or unfulfilled. You can avoid difficult conversations, but you'll still feel the pain of broken relationships. So the question isn't, will I face pain? It's, which pain am I willing to choose? Strong people choose the pain that builds them. They choose the discomfort of pushing through a workout instead of the pain of poor health. They choose the stress of chasing their goals instead of the pain of wondering, what if? They choose the sting of discipline over the long-term ache of mediocrity. When you embrace pain, you take control of it. You stop being a victim and start being a sculptor, shaping yourself into something greater. Every time you endure something difficult without quitting, you teach your brain a powerful lesson. I can handle this. I can survive this. I can win. That belief compounds over time until you become unshakable. But let's be real. Embracing pain is not glamorous. It's waking up sore and still showing up. It's hearing no over and over and still believing in yourself. It's training in the rain, studying when you're tired, grinding when everyone else is relaxing. That's why most people won't do it, because it is hard. And that's exactly why you must. When you stop fearing pain, you become dangerous in the best way possible. Obstacles lose their power over you. Criticism bounces off you. Setbacks become challenges instead of tragedies. You stop negotiating with your comfort zone and you start demanding more from yourself than you thought possible. Every champion, every warrior, every leader you admire has scars, physical, mental, or emotional. Those scars are proof they embraced pain, learned from it, and came out stronger. If you want to stop being the soft person, you need to collect your own scars. Not from recklessness, but from courageously facing what others run from. So stop avoiding pain. Run toward it. Seek it. Use it. Let it sharpen you, harden you, and mold you into someone unbreakable. Pain is not there to destroy you. It's there to reveal the strength you didn't know you had. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is great when you have it. It's that surge of energy you feel after watching a powerful video, hearing an inspiring speech, or imagining your dream life. But here's the problem. Motivation is temporary. It fades. Some days you'll wake up fired up, ready to conquer the world. Other days you'll wake up tired, unmotivated, and not in the mood to do anything. And if you're relying only on motivation, those days will destroy your progress. This is why discipline is more important than motivation. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline says, it doesn't matter how I feel, this gets done. Discipline is the muscle that keeps you moving forward when motivation disappears. It's the ability to show up consistently, even on the days you least want to. Think about it like this. Motivation is a spark, discipline is the engine. A spark can start the fire, but it can't keep it burning. If you only rely on that spark, your fire will die the moment the wind blows against you. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady fuel. It's what keeps the fire alive in storms, in dark nights, in moments when quitting feels easier. Every successful person you know isn't successful because they were always motivated. They're successful because they built the habit of discipline. The athlete doesn't train only when they're excited. They train every day, rain or shine. The writer doesn't wait for inspiration. They write even when the words come slowly. The entrepreneur doesn't only work on good days. They keep grinding through setbacks and challenges. Discipline is also about removing options. When you're disciplined, you don't allow yourself to debate whether you'll do the work. You've already decided you will. If you set a goal to work out every morning at 6 a.m., you don't wake up and ask, do I feel like working out today? You just do it. Feelings be cool. Me irrelevant. Here's the hard truth. If you depend on motivation, you'll always be inconsistent. But if you train yourself to be disciplined, you'll be unstoppable. And discipline isn't built in one big moment. It's built in the small daily choices you make. Every time you push yourself to follow through despite not wanting to, you're strengthening your discipline muscle. The beauty is, once discipline is ingrained, it frees you. You don't waste energy negotiating with yourself. You don't procrastinate as much. You move through your day with clarity and purpose. And eventually, the results you get from discipline will reignite your motivation in a more powerful, lasting way. So stop chasing motivation like it's the magic key. Build discipline. Make it your standard. Let discipline guide you when motivation abandons you. And it will. That's how you stop being soft. That's how you become relentless. Mental toughness training. Physical strength is crucial, but without mental toughness, it's incomplete. Your body can be capable, but if your mind breaks under pressure, you'll quit long before you reach your true potential. Mental toughness is the armor that allows you to keep moving forward when every part of you is screaming to stop. So, how do you train mental toughness? You have to deliberately put yourself in situations where your mind wants to give up, then refuse to give in. This is where most people fail. They avoid discomfort, they shy away from stress, they choose the easy exit. That's why they stay soft. Start by changing how you view struggle. Most people see it as a threat. Mentally tough people see it as an opportunity, a chance to sharpen their mind. That difficult project at work? Training. That exhausting workout? Training. That unexpected life setback? Training. Every challenge is a mental gym session. One powerful way to build mental toughness is through controlled adversity. This can be as simple as waking up early when you want to sleep in, taking a cold shower, fasting for a set period, or tackling a workout you dread. These aren't just physical acts, they're mental tests. Every time you win these small battles, you're reinforcing the belief that you can handle more than your mind tells you. Another key is emotional control. Mental toughness doesn't mean you never feel stress, fear, or frustration. It means you refuse to let those emotions dictate your actions. You acknowledge them, but you keep moving forward. You don't let a bad mood make you skip training. You don't let fear stop you from taking the shot. You don't let doubt silence your voice. Visualization is another tool. Before a challenge, mentally rehearse the obstacles you might face and imagine yourself pushing through them. This prepares your brain for the discomfort ahead. So when it arrives, it's not a shock, it's expected. You've already seen yourself winning in your mind. Most importantly, mental toughness is built through consistency. You can't flip a switch and suddenly be unbreakable. It's forged over time, through countless moments where you choose discipline over ease, persistence over quitting, and action over excuses. Life will test you in ways you can't predict. If you haven't trained your mind to handle pressure, you'll break when it matters most. But if you've built mental toughness, you'll stand strong. Not because it's easy, but because you've trained for it. The soft person crumbles under stress. The tough person thrives in it. That's the difference mental toughness makes. And it's a skill you can build, starting today. Stop making excuses. Excuses are the language of the soft. They're the stories people tell themselves to justify why they aren't where they want to be. They sound convincing, they feel comforting, but in reality, excuses are nothing more than mental handcuffs. You put them on yourself, and you're the only one who can take them off. The harsh truth? Every time you make an excuse, you're choosing to stay stuck. You're telling the world, my comfort matters more than my goals. You're admitting that you'd rather protect your ego than push for progress. And that mindset will keep you average forever. The most common excuses sound like this. I don't have time. But you have time for scrolling, gaming, or Netflix. I'm too tired, because you waste energy on things that don't matter. I don't know how, but you haven't tried to learn. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week, then next year, then never. Here's the reality. Every person who has ever achieved something great faced the same obstacles you're using as excuses. The difference is they found a way through. They made time. They started tired. They learned what they didn't know. They began before they felt ready. Excuses might protect you from short-term discomfort, but they guarantee long-term regret. And regret is a much heavier weight to carry than discipline. Imagine being 10 years older, looking back, and realizing you wasted your prime years making excuses while others built the life you wanted. That's the price of softness. The fix is simple, but not easy. Replace excuses with ownership. Instead of saying, I can't, say, I choose not to. That small shift forces you to confront the truth. It's not that you can't, it's that you're choosing not to prioritize it. And when you take ownership, you take back power. If you truly want something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. It's that black and white. The soft person convinces themselves they're different and their situation is special. The tough person accepts that life is hard for everyone and still does the work. You have to stop negotiating with your dreams. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop telling yourself you'll start when it's easier. It's never going to get easier. You're just going to get stronger if you start now. Next time you catch yourself making an excuse, stop and ask, if my life depended on it, would I still be making this excuse? The answer will almost always expose the truth. You're capable of more. You've just been soft. Drop the excuses. Pick up responsibility. That's the moment you stop being weak and start becoming unstoppable. Set ruthless standards for yourself. Most people fail not because they don't have dreams, but because their standards are too low. They accept good enough. They accept being average. They accept giving 70% and convincing themselves it's 100%. That's what soft people do. They lower their standards to match their comfort. If you want to be strong, mentally, physically, and emotionally, you must set ruthless standards for yourself. Standards so high that they demand your best every single day. Standards that don't allow excuses, shortcuts, or laziness to creep in. Standards that make other people uncomfortable because they're not willing to push as far as you do. Think of elite soldiers, top athletes, or high-performing entrepreneurs. They don't compare themselves to the average person. Their competition is with the best version of themselves, and they hold themselves to a level that most people wouldn't dare to try. That's why they rise to the top. Here's the truth. The world will always try to pull you down to average. If you don't actively set your own high standards, you'll end up living by someone else's low ones. And the scary part? You won't even realize it until years have passed and you wonder why you haven't achieved what you wanted. Ruthless standards mean you train when you said you would, no matter how tired you are. They mean you don't hand in sloppy work just because nobody will notice. They mean you don't skip the hard reps in the gym, you don't quit halfway through a challenge, and you don't settle for almost when you promised yourself all the way. It's about becoming your own toughest critic, not in a way that destroys your confidence, but in a way that demands excellence from yourself. You don't need someone else to tell you you've slipped. You'll know it instantly because you've trained yourself to feel the gap between your best and your excuses. But here's the catch. High standards are useless without consistency. You can't set a standard for 1 week and then relax the next. You can't call yourself disciplined if you only push hard when you feel like it. Your standards must become your identity. They must be who you are, not just what you do when it's convenient. The moment you raise your standards, you'll notice something powerful. Life starts to demand more from you, and you start to deliver more in return. You'll attract better opportunities, better people, and better results because you've become the type of person who refuses to accept anything less. Stop asking what the minimum is. Start asking what the maximum you can give is. Set ruthless standards, live by them every day, and watch yourself transform from soft to unshakable. Learn to love the hard things. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people run from hard things their whole lives. They see difficulty as a threat instead of an opportunity. They avoid discomfort like it's a disease, and that's exactly why they stay soft. If you want to transform yourself, you must flip that mindset. You have to not only accept hard things, you have to learn to love them. Hard things are the forge that shapes your strength. They're the pressure that turns coal into diamonds. Without them, you'll never see your true potential. Think about it. Every breakthrough you've ever had came after struggle. Every skill you've mastered started with frustration. Every victory was earned through work that most people didn't want to do. That's the pattern of life. The hard path leads to the best results. Learning to love hard things means rewiring your brain to see challenge as a gift. When you're faced with a tough workout, a stressful project, or a daunting personal goal, you don't shrink. You lean in. You remind yourself, this is where I grow. This is where I separate myself from the average. One way to develop this love is to embrace voluntary hardship. Push yourself into situations where you know it's going to be tough. Cold showers, early mornings, grueling training sessions, learning new skills that stretch your patience. At first, your mind will resist, but over time, you'll start to crave the rush that comes from overcoming what once felt impossible. The more hard things you do, the more confidence you build. You start to trust yourself in any situation because you've proven over and over that you can handle pressure. And here's the magic. When life throws you an unexpected challenge, you don't panic. You've been here before. You've trained for this. Most people live their lives avoiding pain and chasing ease, but the easy path leads to weakness, dependency, and regret. The hard path, though uncomfortable in the moment, leads to strength, independence, and pride. When you learn to love it, you stop fearing it. Ask yourself, do you want to be the kind of person who only moves when conditions are perfect? Or do you want to be the kind of person who thrives in any environment, no matter how tough? That choice is made in the daily moments when you either face the hard thing or run from it. The soft person says, this is too much for me. The tough person says, this is exactly what I need. Learn to love the hard things, not because they're fun in the moment, but because they're the only road to becoming the strongest version of yourself. Eliminate weak language. Words are not just sounds, they are commands to your brain. The language you use daily shapes how you think, how you act, and ultimately how you live. Soft people speak in weak language, and that weak language reinforces a weak mindset. Phrases like, I'll try, I can't, I'm not ready, it's too hard, I hope I can. These aren't harmless. They're verbal permission slips to quit before you've even started. They send a message to your subconscious that you are powerless, uncertain, and incapable. And the more you repeat them, the more you believe them. Strong people eliminate weak language from their vocabulary. They replace "I'll try" with "I will." They replace "I can't" with "I'll figure it out." They replace "I hope" with "I'm committed." The shift might seem small, but it transforms how you approach challenges. When you use strong language, your mind begins to operate from a position of control. You're no longer a passive passenger in your own life. You're the driver. You stop waiting for permission or perfect conditions and start making things happen. Another trap of weak language is exaggerating problems with negative words, saying, "This is killing me," or "I'm drowning." Every time something's difficult only convinces your mind that you're overwhelmed. Instead, call it what it is: a challenge, a test, an opportunity to grow. You also have to be careful about the subtle phrases that soften your accountability. When you say, "I didn't have time," you're avoiding responsibility. When you say, "It's not my fault," you're shifting blame. Strong people strip those phrases from their speech and replace them with ownership. "I didn't prioritize it," or "I made a mistake." Your environment will often feed you weak language too. Friends, co-workers, even family might say things like, "Don't push yourself too hard," or "That's just the way life is." If you absorb those messages, you start to live by them. Guard your language and guard your mindset. One of the fastest ways to harden your mentality is to start catching yourself in the act. Every time you hear yourself use weak language, stop. Correct it in real time. Replace it with a phrase that reflects strength and certainty. Over time, this reprogramming builds a mindset that refuses to bow to weakness. Your words are the script your mind follows. If you speak like a victim, you'll live like one. If you speak like a warrior, you'll act like one. Eliminate weak language. Speak power into your life. Let every word you say be a reflection of the strong person you are becoming. Build daily discipline. Discipline is the dividing line between those who talk about their goals and those who achieve them. Soft people wait for motivation. They do the work only when they feel like it. Tough people rely on discipline. They do the work regardless of feelings. Daily discipline isn't about doing something once in a while. It's about creating unbreakable routines that you follow no matter what's happening around you. Rain, shine, tired, busy, it doesn't matter. The action gets done because it's part of who you are. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't debate whether or not you'll do it. You don't need to feel inspired to do it. You just do it because it's a habit embedded into your life. That's how your training, your work, your self-improvement needs to be non-negotiable. Discipline starts with small promises to yourself. Wake up at the time you said you would. Complete the workout you planned. Read the pages you committed to. And most importantly, don't break those promises. Every time you follow through, you're telling yourself, "I can trust me." Every time you break them, you chip away at that trust. Here's the thing. Motivation is unreliable. It fades. It disappears when life gets hard. Discipline is what carries you when motivation is gone. It's the internal engine that keeps you moving forward even when every part of you wants to stop. Building discipline requires a willingness to be uncomfortable. You won't always want to wake up early, stick to your diet, or push through that last rep, but you do it anyway. That's what makes you stronger than the person who quits at the first sign of discomfort. You also have to eliminate the mentality of, "I'll start tomorrow." Tomorrow is the enemy of discipline. Tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes never. Discipline is built in the present moment by doing the thing now, not later. One powerful trick? Attach discipline to your identity. Don't just say, "I'm trying to be disciplined." Say, "I am a disciplined person." When it becomes part of who you are, it's no longer a choice. It's a requirement you live by. And understand this, discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. It frees you from the trap of being controlled by moods, impulses, and laziness. It frees you from regret because you know you gave everything you had. Soft people see discipline as a restriction. Strong people see it as the foundation for success. If you want to stop being soft, you must make discipline your daily companion until the things that once felt hard become as natural as breathing. Surround yourself with tough people. You can't expect to develop mental toughness if you're surrounded by people who make excuses, settle for mediocrity, and run from discomfort. Your environment shapes you, whether you realize it or not. If the people closest to you are soft, that softness will slowly infect you. Strong people know this truth. Iron sharpens iron. If you want to be sharper, stronger, and more resilient, you need to be around people who live at that standard. People who push themselves and push you. People who don't let you get away with excuses. People who will call you out when you're slacking. Look at your current circle. Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Do they inspire you to work harder, or do they normalize laziness? Do they challenge you to grow, or do they make you feel comfortable staying the same? Your answer to those questions will tell you everything about why you are where you are. When you surround yourself with tough people, your mindset changes. Suddenly, quitting isn't normal, it's shameful. Slacking isn't an option because everyone around you is doing more. You start to see higher standards not as unrealistic, but as normal. Being around tough people also raises your awareness of what's possible. If you've only ever seen people who settle, you'll think that's the limit. But when you see someone push past exhaustion, build a business from nothing, transform their body, or overcome brutal challenges, you realize your own limits were just illusions. Now, this doesn't mean you have to cut off everyone in your life who isn't as driven as you. But it does mean you need to be intentional about who you spend the most time with. Your primary circle should be filled with people whose presence forces you to level up. And don't be afraid to feel like the weakest person in the room. In fact, that's exactly where you want to be, because it means you're surrounded by people who are better than you in some way. That's how you grow. Comfort in being the best in your circle is a trap. Growth comes from being challenged. If you can't find tough people in person, seek them out through books, podcasts, courses, and online communities. Fill your mental environment with voices that demand more from you. Over time, their standards will become your standards. Remember, strength is contagious, but so is weakness. Choose your company carefully, because you will become like the people you spend the most time with. Stop sitting at tables where weakness is accepted. Surround yourself with warriors, and you'll stop being the soft person, because in their presence, you'll have no choice but to harden up. Stop seeking constant comfort. One of the biggest reasons people stay soft is because they're addicted to comfort. They chase it, protect it, and build their lives around avoiding anything that might threaten it. But here's the hard truth. Comfort is a slow poison. It makes you weaker, dulls your edge, and steals your hunger for growth. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you reinforce the habit of avoiding discomfort. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes to say, "I'll do it later," or "It's not worth the effort." Before you know it, you've built a life where the smallest inconvenience feels unbearable. Look around. Modern life is designed to keep you comfortable. Temperature-controlled rooms, food delivered to your door, entertainment on demand, and endless distractions at your fingertips. While these conveniences can make life easier, they also rob you of the resilience and adaptability that only comes from struggle. The truth is, growth lives outside the comfort zone. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of real pride comes from doing something uncomfortable. Think about the last time you achieved something meaningful. It wasn't sitting on your couch. It was in the moments when you pushed yourself further than you thought you could go. To stop being soft, you have to train yourself to seek discomfort. Start with small steps. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Wake up earlier than you want to. Put down your phone and sit in silence. Choose the harder workout. Speak up when it's easier to stay quiet. These small acts of discomfort build the mental calluses you need for life's bigger battles. And here's the thing. Comfort is not the enemy, but constant comfort is. You can enjoy rest and ease when you've earned it, but you can't let it become your default state. When comfort is all you know, the real world will break you the moment IT demands more. You need to shift your perspective. Discomfort is not something to fear, it's something to respect. It's the sign you're moving in the right direction. The cold morning run, the challenging conversation, the extra reps when you're exhausted, these are the moments that harden you. If you live your whole life chasing comfort, you'll wake up one day realizing you've built nothing, overcome nothing, and become nothing. But if you make discomfort your ally, you'll be ready for anything life throws at you. Stop seeking constant comfort, seek challenge, seek growth, and seek the kind of experiences that make you stronger, sharper, and more alive. Because the moment you stop running from discomfort is the moment you start becoming unstoppable. Face your fears. Head on. Fear is one of the strongest forces keeping people soft. It disguises itself as logic, as caution, as playing it safe. But in reality, it's holding you hostage. And here's the truth. Fear doesn't just disappear with time. If you keep avoiding it, it grows. It gets louder, heavier, and more controlling until it dictates every decision you make. The people who become strong, the ones who build mental toughness, aren't fearless. They just face their fears before those fears can own them. They understand that fear is a compass pointing toward the very thing they need to do. If it scares them, it's probably the thing that will make them grow. Avoidance might feel safe in the moment, but it costs you your confidence. Every time you run from fear, you tell your mind, I can't handle that. And your mind believes you. The result? You start shrinking your life to fit inside the boundaries of what feels comfortable. Facing fear head-on is like lifting a heavy weight. You build strength through exposure. The first time you confront a fear, it's uncomfortable, maybe even overwhelming. But the second time, it's less intimidating. The third time, even less. Eventually, what once terrified you becomes normal. Start small if you have to. If you're afraid of speaking up in meetings, commit to saying one thing every time. If you fear physical challenge, sign up for a 5K and train until you cross that finish line. If you fear rejection, start initiating conversations with strangers. These small victories compound into massive confidence over time. One powerful way to break fear's control is to visualize the worst-case scenario and then realize you can survive it. Most of the time, our fears are exaggerated. We imagine catastrophic outcomes that almost never happen. By confronting those possibilities in your mind and preparing for them, you strip fear of its power. And here's something most people miss. Fear is not the enemy, it's a teacher. It's there to show you where you're still untested, where you still have room to grow. The goal isn't to eliminate fear, but to build the courage to move forward despite it. When you make a habit of facing your fears, you unlock parts of yourself you didn't know existed. You discover resilience, resourcefulness, and strength that were buried under layers of doubt. You start living boldly, not cautiously. Soft people let fear make their decisions for them. Strong people acknowledge the fear, feel it fully, and move forward anyway. That's the difference. The life you want is on the other side of the fears you've been avoiding. Stop running, turn around, face them head-on, and watch how quickly you transform from soft to unshakable. Take responsibility for everything. One of the clearest differences between soft people and strong people is how they handle responsibility. Soft people look for someone or something to blame. They point the finger at their circumstances, at other people, at bad luck, at how life isn't fair. But strong people? They point the finger inward. They take ownership, full ownership of their actions, their results, and even their failures. Taking responsibility for everything doesn't mean everything is your fault. You can't control the weather, the economy, or the actions of others, but you can control how you respond. You can control your choices, your preparation, your effort, and your mindset. And the moment you decide that your life is yours, no excuses, no victimhood, you put yourself in the driver's seat. The problem with blaming others is that it hands away your power. If it's always someone else's fault, then you're powerless to change anything. But when you own it, when you say, "This is my life, my responsibility," you give yourself the ability to change the outcome. Responsibility is uncomfortable. It forces you to admit your weaknesses, your bad decisions, and your role in where you are right now. But it's also liberating. because it means you have the power to change. You don't have to wait for someone to save you. You can save yourself. Strong people don't dwell on the past, blaming others. They learn from it. They ask, what could I have done differently? And then they apply that lesson moving forward. They take the hit, adjust their strategy, and keep going. That's why they grow while others stay stuck. Taking responsibility also means holding yourself to a higher standard. You show up on time because you said you would. You follow through on commitments even when you don't feel like it. You don't ghost people when things get hard. You face the situation, own your role, and handle it. In relationships, responsibility means you don't say, they made me angry. No, they triggered you, but you chose how to respond. In business, it means you don't say, the market ruined me. No, the market shifted and you didn't adapt. In health, it means you don't say, I don't have time to exercise. No, you didn't make it a priority. When you start taking responsibility for everything, your entire mindset changes. You stop waiting for life to be easy. You stop expecting others to carry you. You become the kind of person who can handle setbacks, solve problems, and keep moving forward no matter what. Soft people avoid responsibility because it feels heavy. Strong people embrace it because they know it's the weight that builds strength. If you want to stop being soft, start carrying the weight of your own life because no one else is coming to do it for you. Build resilience through repetition. Resilience isn't built in a single moment of inspiration. It's forged through repetition. Day after day, doing the hard things, sticking to the process, and showing up whether you feel like it or not. This is where most people fail, because they expect strength to appear overnight. But the truth is, resilience is a slow grind. Think of the strongest people you admire. Athletes, entrepreneurs, soldiers, leaders. They didn't get where they are by doing something once. They trained their minds and bodies through relentless repetition until their habits became unshakable. And that's exactly what you need to do if you want to stop being soft. Repetition is where toughness is born because it forces you to face boredom, fatigue, and resistance. It's easy to be motivated on day one. It's easy to work hard when you're excited. But when the excitement fades and the grind sets in, that's the proving ground. Those who quit here stay soft. Those who keep going, even without the spark of motivation, harden into something unbreakable. Every rep in the gym, every early morning alarm, every time you push past the point where you want to quit, that's a deposit into your resilience bank. The more deposits you make, the bigger your reserves. And when life hits you hard, those reserves are what keep you standing. The problem is, most people mistake variety for progress. They keep looking for something new, a fresh routine, a different challenge, because repetition feels dull. But strength comes from mastering the basics over and over. A boxer doesn't throw a perfect punch the first time. They throw it thousands of times until it's instinct. In life, you need the same approach. Want to build mental resilience? Practice discipline daily, not just when it's convenient. Want to develop emotional strength? Practice patience and composure in every interaction, or not just when you're in a good mood. Repetition also builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you can rely on you. That's a quiet confidence no one can take away. But if you constantly quit halfway, you teach yourself the opposite, that your own word isn't worth much. This is why strong people embrace the grind. They understand that every repeated action is an opportunity to strengthen their will. They're not chasing quick results. They're building a foundation that will hold up for decades. If you want to stop being soft, stop looking for shortcuts. Pick the hard things that matter and do them over and over until they're part of who you are. Resilience isn't about doing something once. It's about doing it again and again until nothing can knock you off course. Never stop raising the bar. The moment you stop raising the bar for yourself is the moment you start slipping backwards. Life doesn't stay still. If you're not actively pushing forward, you're slowly falling behind. This is why strong people are never satisfied with good enough. They don't settle after reaching a milestone. They set the next one immediately. Soft people love to coast. They achieve something, lose a little weight, hit a small goal at work, save some money, and then they stop pushing. They tell themselves, "I've done enough." But strength fades when it's not maintained, and progress dies without new challenges. Raising the bar isn't about being dissatisfied with your achievements. It's about refusing to get stuck. It's understanding that the version of you who hit yesterday's goal isn't the same version who will conquer tomorrow's. To keep growing, you have to demand more of yourself, even when you're already ahead of the pack. This applies to every area of life. If you ran 5K, aim for 10K. If you read 10 books this year, go for 20 next year. If you saved $5,000, push for $10,000. Each goal builds on the last, forcing you to evolve to meet it. The reason this is so important is because comfort loves to creep in after success. You've proven yourself, so you think you can ease up. But that's when softness begins to take root again. The discipline, focus, and hunger that got you there start to weaken. Before you know it, you've lost the edge you worked so hard to build. Strong people fight this by setting their sights higher every time they reach a target. They understand that the bar is not just a measure of achievement, it's a measure of who they are becoming. Raising it forces them to learn, adapt, and keep moving forward. There's also a deeper benefit to this mindset. It keeps life exciting. When you're always working towards something bigger, you avoid the stagnation that kills motivation. You wake up with a sense of purpose, knowing there's another mountain to climb. Of course, raising the bar comes with risk. You might fail, you might push too hard and fall short. But that's part of the process. Failure teaches you faster than comfort ever will, and every setback you recover from only makes you stronger. If you want to stop being soft, you can't let yesterday's victories lull you into complacency. The game isn't over until your last breath. Keep moving the target. Keep pushing the limits. Keep demanding more from yourself than anyone else ever will. Because when you live like this, when you never stop raising the bar, you'll look back one day and realize you didn't just avoid being soft. You became unstoppable. We've walked through the principles. We've broken down the habits. We've stripped away the excuses. Now, the choice is in your hands. You've heard me say it over and over. Being soft isn't about being kind, compassionate, or gentle. It's about letting yourself stay weak when you could be strong. It's about choosing comfort over growth, excuses over action, and fear over courage. The truth is, no one's coming to toughen you up. Life won't pause until you feel ready. The world will keep moving, challenges will keep coming, and if you're not ready, they will crush you. But if you take the steps we've talked about, facing your fears, taking full responsibility, embracing repetition, and constantly raising the bar, you will transform. Strength isn't built in one grand moment. It's built brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you follow through on your word, every time you face something you'd rather avoid, you're building the armor you need for life. And here's the thing. You will still fall. You will still have setbacks. You will still face days when quitting feels easier than continuing. That's normal. That's part of the process. But strong people don't measure themselves by the number of times they fall. They measure themselves by the number of times they get back up. You can keep living the same way you've been living, avoiding challenges, blaming circumstances, settling for good enough. But know this, the comfort you cling to now will become the prison you hate later. Sooner or later, you'll wake up and realize the time is gone, and you never became the person you were capable of becoming. Or, you can decide that today is the day you stop being soft. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when things settle down. Today. You can decide that the version of you who walks out of this moment is not the same one who walked far. Yet, this is your life. Your one shot. Every single day you have a choice. Remain the same or evolve. Hide from the hard things or run toward them. Wait for permission or create your own path. The decision is yours, but the consequences are permanent. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you want to be strong tomorrow, start doing the hard things today. Comfort is killing your potential. Step into the fire and let it forge you. Stop waiting for life to hand you strength. Build it, brick by brick. You weren't born to be soft. You were born to be unbreakable. The world doesn't need another person who quit when it got hard. It needs you, at your strongest. Now go. The time for talk is over. The time for action has begun.